welcome. This is Brandy Rose Midline, the Forbidden Library. And Lucas, you're in luck because we're reading a folklore book instead of a mythology book. Heck yeah. I only said mythology because we based, I on the Reddits, I gave, there was a list of 100 mythology books on normal-sized fandoms would remember for 15 months. Almost 2 whole pregnancies indeed. Yeah, and the only person who... Very accurate. To be honest, I didn't know what we were going to stream. I just wanted to schedule the stream. Because then it was scheduled and I didn't have to think. Whereas, anyway, I'm losing track. Yeah, so I scheduled the stream. I didn't know what book we were going to read yet. I just knew it was going to be from that big list of mythology books, that Reddit post I gave you guys. And the only person who gave me suggestions on that was Howdy, who doesn't seem to be here right now. And I picked this suggestion of Howdy's because I know nothing of the Filipino folktales at all. And I think it would be fascinating to learn. Have you read my mind? Good lord, it's a great coincidence. Thank you, random chance. Yay! There's 2 Lucases in the chat as well. I'm gonna have to... Boop-a-doo! Reading on a Saturday, I thought it was Sunday. It usually is Sunday. Also, me and the Forbidden Medicine Report. I wish there was more of that series. I need it in my life. But I forgot when I did my schedule that I have things happening on Sunday, which mean I can't stream. So I just decided to do it today instead. Yeah. Description says we're reading treasure. Does it? For once, Twitch is right and YouTube's not. One hot second. No, I don't want to end this stream. I don't think I can change it midstream. Can I? Also, hello everyone. Let's just say hello to you guys before I forget to do that too. So, hello Kevlar. Hello, hello Native Gamer. Hello Normal-Sized Phantom. Hello Nimby. Hello For Hell. Hello Exnam. Hello Boris. Hello Lucas. Hello other Lucas. Lucas 1 and Lucas 2. Just call me Jay. Okay, hello Jay. Model is cute. I'm putting the summer clothes on. It's been really warm the past few days in England. The sun is here. It's like summer already. I've had a barbecue already. What is this? I don't understand. Let me see if I can quickly change the title because otherwise I will forget to do so and it will forever be a pirate one when it is actually... Oh, it's the description that says I'm reading Treasure Island. Today we are reading... Philippine folktales. Save. Done. I'll need to change more on that. I'll need to change like the tags and stuff. But that'll do for now. For now. Only for now. For now. Anyway, the spreadsheet is up. We all know what that means. Spreadsheet time before reading time. I won't be able to stay long. We'll be heading for the grocery shopping. But can I for a while? Yeah! Grocery shopping is important. If you need a good reference on various folkloric subjects, just ask. I bet Filipinos in chat. I'm hoping they will, because the thing with this book, because it's Project Gutenberg, it's from the 20th century, and it's written by a British woman. So, I'm not expecting this to be the most accurate depiction of Filipinian folktales. So, any Filipinos in the chat, feel free to fact check. It'll probably need it. But first, we're going to add some stuff to my list. So, 7, we got the seasons. Issue 3. My comic book guy in the shop is great. He knew I wanted this, so he's been holding some comics back for me because he knows I want them, and it's wonderful. Comic. Howdy, I know! I picked it because of Howdy suggesting not even to check. Oh god, it's gonna be very silly when it comes to that, because it's just, I don't expect this. When I read the preface, you'll know why I'm sort of like, on how accurate this is gonna be. Series 2025. Based Comic Sans. Okay, that's that. I got back into reading a little bit this week. I need my phone for the other things that I read. We need good old webtoons, because guess what? Guess what I read? Where is it? Oh, I haven't read it for a while, have I? God damn. Teenage Mercenaries all the way up there. God damn. So that's 188, not 60, 80 to 200 of that. And that is a webtoon series 2025. And none of the British wrote about Philippine folktales. The British will write about anything. We will. We'll go on holiday and we'll write about it like we're an expert. Hi, I'm Howdy. I could eat my body weight in table salt and gain no weight. Maybe. I also read at least 20 chapters of changing the genre from angst to heartwarming. Another webtoon! Was that the whole thing? Heartwarming. Another very long title, but it was very good. I like it. It is about a girl who gets reincarnated into a smut novel, into an angsty smut novel. Did the British write how ads are loud in YouTube? Probably. Somewhere we did, most likely. Hello, Lighthouse, welcome. It is a classic. The Tool and Yang Dem. Series 2025. Literary East Coast smut. Yeah, so she gets reincarnated into the smut novel as the main heroine's younger sister, but really wants to save the main heroine, so she stops her from getting like taken in by the count that was gonna like be lewd. And she gets taken in instead, but he's not really being lewd, and everything's kind of being a bit nicer that it pans out. And she's very confused, but very happy. Is there any others? Not quite, I don't think. Last one then is an audiobook I listened to, which brings us to 270, which is Percy Jackson! I finished the first Percy Jackson series. We did it! And the last Olympian. That is not how you spell Olympian. M-P-I-N. Oh, Boris, you gotta go. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it. Yes, the angsty subgenre of smut that usually leads to death. the kind of smut that stays in books. Rick Riordan. It's not with an I. It's with an O. Right, there we go. Series complete. I know there's another one, but that's technically a new series, so it's fine. So that brings us to 270. The proper kind of not too into Mr. but the book's popular for a reason. Exactly. I didn't read them as a kid, obviously. So I wanted my fiance read them not long ago, and he was saying how wonderful they are. Is that right? No, somehow I've jumped up to the 60s there. How did that happen? I knew that wasn't right. It should be 47. 40s. 48. 49. So this is 50. Knew something wasn't right. Did not like them. Sadly, still don't, but hey, it's not for me. That's fine. I quite enjoyed them. Like a bit of Greek mythology nonsense. Right, we can get to this book now. Philippine folktales. Da, 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 da. We need to summon some Filipinos. So, let me get you to the preface so so this was written in 1916. Also, it might be an American writing it, not a British person. I might have gotten that wrong. It is a crusty old book. It is. But it's free to read because it's a crusty old book. So, yeah. Yeah, it's from Chicago. Copyrighted in Great Britain, but minted in Chicago? Question mark? Strange. So, this will show you a little what to expect. Terrible year for corn. Great year, except not really, considering post-war depression. Yeah! It's fine. Miss Mabel Cook Cole had a chance to go on holiday and write about the Filipinos, so she's having a great time in the 1916s. Could you imagine back then? And then one day her book ends up on a VTuber stream. If only she knew. From time to time, since the American occupation of the islands, Philippine folktales have appeared in scientific publications, but never, so far as the writer is aware, has there been an attempt to offer the general public a comprehensive popular collection of this material. It is my earnest hope that this collection of tales will give those who are interested opportunity to learn something of the magic, superstitions, and weird customs of the Filipinos. The fact that she goes straight into calling them weird should tell you a lot about how these are going to be approached. So keep an open mind. The sequel to 1917. She was so proud. She was so happy with herself. We just got sold to the Americans at the time. The Spanish were tired of us riling up their pie. Good to know. Like I said, add all the historical stuff to it. It's not like she's wrong. Have you seen? I haven't. That's the thing. The only thing I know, the closest thing I've gotten to like anything Filipino media or folkloric or anything was the Trace series on Netflix. That is all. So this is going to be completely new to me, and I'm excited to learn. Excited to learn about other things. You're going to need a drink then? I have water. I assume I'm going to need something stronger. Oh lord, it's going to be fun. And to feel the charm of their wonder world as it is pictured by these dark-skinned inhabitants of our island possessions. Yes, our possessions. No, capitalism. Colonization, yay! We require the spicy water. Trez is a good start. Although that is more handsome boy. In company with my husband, who was engaged in ethnological work for the Field Museum of Natural History, it was my good fortune to spend 4 years among the wild tribes of the Philippines. During this time, we frequently heard these stories, either related by the people in their homes and around the campfires, or chanted by the pagan priests in communion with the spirits. The tales are now published in this little volume, with the addition of a few folk legends that have appeared in the Journal of American Folklore and in scientific publications, here retold with some additions made by native storytellers. I know, right? Like I said, we got to keep it. Colonization was a thing. It will be interesting, yeah, because to see what you remember and then maybe what these are based off with the tribal versions of the stories. It'll be very interesting. I have endeavoured to select typical tales from the tribes widely separated by varying in culture from savagery to a rather high degree of development. Sorry, I'm choking on the colonialism. The stories are therefore divided into 5 groups as follows. Official apology for all names that I butcher. Hey, the further was still coming up in a few years, so it's not like we were the only ones getting yacked. Yeah, a lot of the world was having a bad time due to Europe and the British Empire at this point, so it's like she's talking about aliens. It is, isn't it? Oh, but yeah, I wanted to read we don't have to read the whole preface. We can go straight into this tales, but I wanted, again, I think it's important when reading stuff like this to know the eyes you're looking through. Especially when it comes to cultural stuff. Like, you should be getting it from the source. She apparently does get it from the source, but now it's filtered through the eyes of a colonial British woman. So, you could do it. I can't pronounce a lot of these myself, so I'd say it's alright to butcher these. Yay! Doesn't tell him. Yeah, no. Hello, Job Hop, welcome. The Tinguan, the Igorot, the wild tribes of Mindanao, Moro, and Christian. The first 2 groups, the Tinguan and Igorot, are from natives who inhabit the rugged mountain region of northwestern Luzon. From time immemorial, they have been zealots, headhunters, and their stories teem with references to customs and superstitions connected with their savage practices. By far the largest number belong to the Tinguan group. In order to appreciate these tales to the fullest extent, we must understand the point of view of the Tinguan. That sounds almost Chinese. That's true. This time was pretty freaky savage. The colonialism is just the heavy icing on the cake. Oh, lordy. Very interesting. To him, they embody all the known traditions of the first times, of the people who inhabited the earth before the present race appeared, of the ancient heroes and their powers and achievements. In them he finds an explanation of and reason for many of his present laws and customs. A careful study of the whole body of the Tinguan mythology points to the conclusion that the chief characters of these tales are not celestial beings, but typical generalized heroes of former ages, whose deeds have been magnified in the telling by many generations of their descendants. These people of the first times practiced magic. They talked with jars, created human beings out of betel nuts, raised the dead, and had power of changing themselves into other forms. This, however, does not seem strange or impossible to the Tinguan of today, of the 20th century. It's pronounced Igorot. Thank you. I believe those tribes are still alive today. Cool peeps from what I've learned. Great dancing. Nice. Colonialism is my least favorite icing on the cake. That's fair. For even now they talk with jars, perform certain rites to bring sickness and death to their foes, and are warned by omens received through the medium of birds, thunder, and lightning, or the condition of their liver, the condition of the liver of a slaughtered animal. They still converse freely with certain spirits who during religious ceremonies are believed to use the bodies of men or women as mediums for the purpose of advertising and instructing the people. They made humans out of Gaffer Spell's nuts. They did. They really did. People always make magic OCs. It's great. We love magic OCs. Several of the characters appear in story after story. Sometimes they go under different names, but in the minds of the storytellers, their personality and relationships are definitely established. Thus, Init of the first tale becomes Kaedaya Dawan in the second, Ponitolau in the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and Ligi in the seventh. Kanag of the son of Apontilau and Aponibolinyan. That's a long one. And the fifth is called Dumawalai. These heroes had most unusual relations with their heavenly bodies, all of which seem to have been regarded as animate beings. In the fourth tale of Apontilau, marries Gagaioma, the Star Maiden, who is the daughter of the big star and the moon. In the first story, the same character, under the same name of Initini, seems to be a sun god. We are told that he is the sun, and again, a round stone which rolls. Thereupon, we might conclude that he is a true solar being. Yet, in the other tales of this collection, and in many more known to the Tingyuan, he reveals no celestial qualities. Even in the first story, he abandons his place in the sky and goes to live on Earth. Hello, maiden, welcome! We're reading Philippine folk tales, maiden. You should go tell Fury. We need some Philippine fact checkers here. It's more like the Greeks making heroes like Hercules and the like, although more spiritual nature. There are many magical maidens in the Philippine folks. I can assure you that. I imagine so. Oh my god, maiden, yeah! In the first 8 stories, we read of many customs of the first times, which differ radically from those of the present, but a careful analysis of all the known lore of this people points to the belief that many of these accounts depict a period when similar customs did exist among the people, or else were practiced by the emigrants who generations ago became amalgamated with the Tingyun, and whose strange customs finally became attributed to the people of the tales. The stories numbered 9 to 16 are of somewhat different type, and in them the Tingyuan finds an explanation of many things, such as how the people learned to plant and to cure diseases, where they secured their valuable jars and beads, and why the moon has spots on its face. All these stories are fully believed, and the beads and jars are considered precious, and the places mentioned are definitely known. While the accounts seem to be of fairly recent origin, they conflict neither with the fundamental ideas and traditions of the first times, nor with beliefs in the 20th century. Philippine invented magical girls. That's cool. Yes, if they can fact check, that'd be wonderful. Irish kind of beat us on magical girl things. I'd like, yeah, the fairies and stuff over here in the British Isles. We got a lot of magical stuff going on here. Stories 17 to 23 are regarded as fables and are told to amuse children, or while away the midday hours when the people seek shaded spots to lounge or stop on the trail to rest. Most of them are known to the Christianized tribes throughout the islands and show great similarity to the tales found in the islands to the south, and in some cases in Europe. In many of them, the chief incidents are identical with those found elsewhere, but the storytellers, by introducing old customs and beliefs, have moulded and coloured them until they reflect the common ideas of the Tinguen. We do have fairies too. We call them Encanto, though. Specifically Diwata. I feel like Diwata's a name I've seen before. I think I've seen that in video games before. Hopefully we'll learn of them here. I hope so. I want to learn all the things. The third group includes stories of several wild tribes who dwell in the large islands of Mindanao. Here are people who work in brass and steel, building good dwellings and wear hemp clothing elaborately decorated with beads, shell discs, and embroidery, but who still practice many savage customs, including slavery and human sacrifice. This is the 20th century British woman. What do you think we're doing? The fourth division gives two tales from the Moro. Hardy Malayan warriors whose ancestors early become converts to the faith of Muhammad. Their teachers were the Arabian traders who, about 1400, succeeded in converting many of the Malayan islanders to the faith of the Prophet. I know, it's okay when we do it, obviously. No, it's not. It's never okay, for the record, but that's the energy she's giving. The last group contains stories of the Christianized natives, those who accepted the rule of Spain, and with it the Catholic religion. Their tales, while full of local colour, nevertheless show influence of the European tutors. They furnish an excellent opportunity to contrast the literature of the savage headhunters with that of the Moro and Christian tribes, and to observe the various recent influences have modified the beliefs of people who, not many centuries ago, were doubtless of a uniform grade of culture. It is interesting, too, to note that European tales brought to the island by Mohammedian and Christian rulers and traders have been worked over at first glance. They now appear indigenous. Owing to local colouring, these tales have various forms. Still, we find many incidents which are held in common by all the tribes of the archipelago, and even by the people of Borneo, Java, Sumatra, and India. Borneo's not the word, is it? I should know that one. I should know how to read that, but I don't, because I'm not smart sometimes. It's fine. Some of these similarities and parallelisms are indicated in the footnotes throughout the book. Fascinating! So this is the stories we've got. I think I'm kind of glad we read all that, because that was actually a very good... After we got over some of the colonialism nonsense, that was actually a very good overview of, like, where these stories come from and everything. Very good. So here's what we'll actually be reading, if you want to give it a quick look over. This was after Jose Rizal's passing, and he made folks see the Spanish religion might have been too grabby, so to speak. So this is outside after perspective. It's fascinating. Lovely. I'm glad you're finding it interesting too. The striped blanket. That sounds nice. The turtle and the lizard. I'm looking forward to some of these. Doggy dog. Doggy dog. Doggy dog. The creation, the flood story. That's very biblical. There's more than one flood story. 1.2 flood story. The monkey. So there's a few that have made. There's a monkey in it. There's a turtle and a lizard and a monkey and a turtle. Interesting. We've got the Adventures of Juan. Now, which explains why that's in the Christianized bit, because Juan is obviously a bit more of a Spanish name, as far as I know. Why dogs wag their tails? Because they're happy, right? Right? Have I been wrong the whole time? We'll find out. Oh my god. The Battle of the Crabs. That sounds great. I want to see the crabs go to war. So these are all the illustrations we have, because we get illustrations in these books and it's wonderful. Did they tell you about Aswan yet? No. No, I know nothing. We know nothing of these tales. These are indeed more tales of the traditional variety rather than urban legends and modern folklore, but still a good read. But obviously because this is a very old book, I don't think we'd really get as many modern folk tales in anything I could get my hands on to read. I have to talk to publishers and things for that kind of stuff, me, unfortunately. How children became monkeys by watching Minecraft movie. Obviously. I have heard. Righto. Let's read. Crab battle. Tingwan. Introduction. The dim light of stars filtered through the leafy canopy above us, and the shadowy form of our guide once more appeared at my horse's head. It was only for an instant, however, and then we were plunged again into the inky darkness of a tropical jungle. We had planned to reach the distant Tingwan village in the late afternoon, but had failed to reckon with the deliberateness of native carriers. It was only by urging our horses that we were able to ford the broad Abra Ear. The last rays of the sun dropped behind the mountains, and then, in this land of no twilights, night had settled quickly over us. We had made our way up the mountainside, through the thick jungle, only to find the trail, long imperceptible to us, had escaped even the keen eyes of our guide. For several hours we wandered about, lost in the dark. On and on we went, through narrow paths steep in places, and made rough and dangerous by sharp rocks as well as by those long creepers of the jungle, whose thorny fingers are ever ready to seize horse or rider. That's okay, these are still great folkloric tales from good history, though the eyes of a British woman read by a VTuber is even better. Read by a British VTuber! Occasionally we came out of the forest, only to cross rocky mountain streams, or perhaps it was the same stream that we crossed many times. Our horses, becoming weary and uncertain of foot, grew more and more reluctant to plunge into the darkness, swiftly flowing water, and our patience was nearly exhausted when we were at last caught sight of dim lights in the valley below. Half an hour later, we rode into Manabo. I shall never forget the first picture. It was a weird spectacle. Coming out of the darkness, we were almost convinced that we had entered a new world. Against the blackness of the night, grass-roofed houses stood outlined in the dim light of a bonfire, and squatting around that fire, unclad save for gay blankets. I assume she means bright blankets. Language has entirely changed. Wrapped around their shoulders were brown-skinned men smoking long pipes, while women, bedecked with bright beads, were spinning cotton. As they worked in the flickering light, they stretched their distaffs at arm's length into the air like witches waving their wands. And with that, the elfland picture was complete. In the stillness of the night, a single voice could be heard, reciting some tale in a sing-song tone, which was interrupted only when peals of laughter burst forth from the listeners, or when a scrawny dog rose to bark at an imaginary noise until the shouts of the men quieted him, and he returned to his bed in the warm ashes. Later, we learned that these were regular social gatherings of the Tingwan, and every night during the dry season, one or more of these bonfires were to be seen in the village. After we had attained the footing of welcome guests in these circles, we found that a good storyteller was always present, and while the men smoked, the women spun, and the dogs slept, he entertained us with tales of heroes who knew magic of the betel nut, or with stories of spirits and their power over the lives of men. The following are some of the tales heard first around the campfire of the distant mountain village. Oh, what a long name! What a very long name! Good Lord. Abonibolinien. Google, help me. I'm going to see if I can get Google Translate to tell me a thing. Google Translate. Tell me your ways, Google. Tell me the ways of the Filipino name. Swahili detected. Apolibolinayan. Let me get it so you can hear Google.
Aponibolinayan.
I'm sorry, that's really loud, isn't it? Apolibolinayan. I feel like I'm gonna have to say this a lot, so I'm gonna practice. Apolibolinayan and the sun. One day, Apolibolinayan and her sister-in-law went out to gather greens. They walked to the woods to the place where the skillat grew, and the tender leaves of the vine are very good to eat. Suddenly, while searching about the underbush, Apolibolinayan cried with joy, for she had found the vine, and she started to pick the leaves, pull as hard as she would. However, the leaves did not come loose, and all at once the vine wound itself around her body and began carrying her upwards. Oh wow, that started fast. We don't have 4 seasons, being a tropical country. We only have 2, wet and dry. Dry is where great summer stories occur and are told, it seems. Oh, that's cool. I'll give you a gold medal. Nice. Far through the air she went until she reached the sky. And you thought Worcestershire was hard to pronounce. Worcestershire sauce, I can do. That's fine. Apolibolinayan. That one's gonna take a little while to get used to. Until she reached the sky, and there the vine set her down under a tree. Apolibolinayan was so surprised to find herself in the sky that for some time she just sat and looked around. And then, hearing a rooster crow, she arose to see if she could find it. Not far from where she had sat was a beautiful spring surrounded by tall betel-nut trees, whose tops were pure gold. Rare beads were the sands of the spring, and the place where the women set their jars when they came to dip water was a large golden plate. As Apollyon stood admiring the beauties of this spring, she beheld a small house nearby, and she was filled with fear lest the owner should find her there. She looked about for some means of escape, and finally climbed to the top of a betel-nut tree and hid. Now the owner of this house was an innie in it. The sun, and he was never home in the daylight, for it was his duty to shine in the sky and give light to all the world. At the close of the day, when the big star took his place, and in the sky to shine through the night, innie in it returned to his house. But early the next morning he was always off again. From her place in the top of the betel-nut tree, Apollyon saw the sun when he came home at evening time, and again in the morning she saw him leave. When she was sure that he was out of sight, she climbed down and entered his dwelling, for she was very hungry. She cooked rice, and into a pot of boiling water she dropped a stick, which immediately became a fish. So that she had all she wished to eat. When she was no longer hungry, she lay down on the bed to sleep. This is very Goldilocks. Goldilocks in the sun. Now late into the afternoon, innie in it returned from his work, and went to fish in the river near his house, and he caught a big fish. While he sat on the bank cleaning his catch, he happened to look up towards his house, and startled to see that it appeared to be on fire. He hurried home, but when he reached the house he saw that it was not burning at all, and he entered. On his bed he beheld what looked like a flame of fire, but upon closer he found it was a beautiful woman, fast asleep. Innie in it stood for some time, wondering what he should do, and then he decided to cook some food and invite this lovely creature to eat with him. He put rice over the fire to boil, and cut into pieces the fish he had caught. The noise of this awakened I've lost it! I should have kept the Google Translate up. It's fine, we'll get it. Get it back up. We need to remind me. Apollyon. Apollyon, that's it. Awakened Apollyon, and she slipped out of the house and back to the top of the betel-nut tree. The sun did not see her leave, and when the food was prepared he called her, but the bed was empty, and he had to eat alone. That night, innie in it could not sleep well, for all the time he wondered who the beautiful woman could be. The next morning, however, he rose as usual and set forth to shine in the sky, for that was his work. Okay, I'm back. Nan's letting me watch his stream on her laptop because your phone keeps glitching. Thanks, Nan Hasegawa. That day, Apollyon stole again to the house of the sun and cooked food, and when she returned to the betel-nut tree, she left rice and fish ready for the sun when he came home. Late in the afternoon, innie in it went into his house, and when he found pots of hot rice and fish over the fire, he was greatly troubled. After he had eaten, he walked a long time in the fresh air. Perhaps it is done by the lovely woman who looks like a flame of fire, he said. If she comes again, I will try to catch her. Goldilocks and the magical god of the sun. Goldilocks and the unmatched power of the sun in the palm of her hand. The next day the sun shone in the sky as before, and when the afternoon grew late, he called to the big star to hurry to take his place, for he was impatient to reach home. As he drew near the house, he saw that it again looked as if it were on fire. He crept quietly up the ladder, and when he reached the top, he sprang in and shut the door behind him. Apollybolayan, who was cooking rice over the fire, was surprised and angry that she had been caught. But the sun gave her betel nut, which was covered with gold, and they chewed together and told each other their names. Then Apollybolayan took up the rice and fish as they ate. And they ate. They talked together and became acquainted. Innie in it, huh? I guess in it means heat or hot, oddly enough. Oh, does it? Oh, that's funny. Because my brain's just like British in it, right? In it. So we're just saying hot at the same time. Hot, in it. The last few days have been really hot, innit? I love that means hot as well. That's great. After some time, Apollybolayan and the sun were married. Yay! That was quick. That was a Disney marriage right there. And every morning the sun went to shine in the sky, and upon his return at night, he found his supper ready for him. He began to be troubled, however, to know where the food came from, for though he brought home a fine fish every night, Apollybolayan always refused to cook it. One night he watched her prepare their meal, and he saw that instead of using the nice fish he brought, she only dropped a stick into the pot of boiling water. "Why do you try to cook a stick?" asked Innie in surprise. "So that we can have fish to eat," answered his wife. "If you cook that stick for a month, it will not be soft," said Innie. "Take this fish I caught in the net, for it will be good." But Apollybolayan only laughed at him, and when they were ready to eat, she took the cover off the pot, and there was plenty of nice soft fish. The next night, and the next, Apollybolayan cooked the stick, and Innie became greatly troubled, for he saw that though the stick always supplied them with fish, it never grew smaller. Finally he asked Apollybolayan again why it was that she cooked the stick instead of the fish he brought, and she said, "Do you not know of the women on earth who has magical power and can change things?" "Yes," answered the sun, "and now I know that you have great power." What does that word mean, maiden? I want to know what that means before I give it an attempt. "Well then," said his wife, "do not ask again why I cook the stick." And they ate their supper of rice and fish, which the stick made. If you mix Filipino and British, you get today's man in it. Wonderful. One night, not long after this, Apollybolayan told her husband that she wanted to go with him the next day, when he made light in the sky. "Oh no, you cannot," said the sun, "for it is very hot up there, and you cannot stand the heat." "We will make many blankets and pillows," said the woman, "and when the heat becomes very great, I will hide under them." Again and again Innie begged her not to go, but as often she insisted on accompanying him, and early in the morning they set out, carrying with them many blankets and pillows. First they went to the east, and as soon as they arrived the sun began to shine, and Apollybolayan was with him. They travelled towards the west, but when the morning had passed into noontime, and they had reached the middle of the sky, A Polybolinayan was so hot that she melted and became oil. Then Inuit put her into a bottle and wrapped her in the blankets and pillows and dropped her down to earth. Now one of the women of a Polybolinayan's town was at the spring dipping water when she heard something fall near her. Turning to look, she beheld a bundle of beautiful blankets and pillows which she began to unroll. Inside she found the most beautiful woman she had ever seen. Frightened at her discovery, the woman ran... I'm sorry, I just had a... Oh no! Gay panic! It's a beautiful woman! Run! Ah! A beautiful woman fell from the sky! Wonderful. Oh, if I could cook with sticks, it would be so good. Adjective, causing uneasiness, causing agitation, causing anxiety, anxiety-inducing. That word does look anxiety-inducing. That makes sense. Na ka pang pa gag bag. Yeah, I'm not. Tried, failed. Ah, pretty lady. The woman ran as fast as she could to the town, where she called the people together and told them to come at once to the spring. They all hastened to the spot, and there they found a Polybolinaya for whom they had been searching everywhere. Oh no, she became a Howdy! Welcome, Howdy. I picked the book. I picked the book of your hometowns. Because I was curious. I know nothing of the Philippine folk tales, so it's gonna be interesting. I mean, did you not know that women melt into oil when they get too hot? I thought this was common knowledge. That's why you wear suntan lotion, guys. They haven't been boring yet. It's been very fun so far. Where have you been? Asked her father. We searched all over the world and we could not find you. I have come from Pindayan, answered a Polybolinayan. Enemies of our people kept me there till I made my escape while they were asleep at night. You married the sun, woman! All were filled with joy that the lost one had returned, and they decided that the next moon they would perform a ceremony for the spirits, and invited all the relatives who were mourning for a Polybolinaya. So they began to prepare for the ceremony, and while they were pounding rice, a Polybolinaya asked her mother to prick her finger where it itched, and as she did so, a beautiful baby boy popped out. Wow! A whole baby from a pricked finger? Oh god, if only childbirth was that easy. Suddenly, baby. The people were very much surprised at this, as am I. That's a plot twist. And they noticed that every time he was bathed, the baby grew very fast, so that in a short time he was able to walk. Then they were anxious to know who was the husband of a Polybolinaya, but she would not tell them. And they decided to invite everyone in the world to the ceremony, that they might not overlook him. She did marry the sun, that is true. And now she has a sun baby from her finger. That's how it works. That's how sun babies are born. They sent for the betel nuts that were covered with gold, and when they had oiled them, they commanded them to go to all the towns and compel the people to come to the ceremony. If anyone refuses to come, grow on his knee, said the people, and the betel nuts departed, so to do as they were bidden. As the guests began to arrive, the people watched carefully for one who might be the husband of a Polybolinayan. But none appeared, and they were greatly troubled. Finally, they went to the old woman, Alokoktan, who was able to talk with the spirits, and begged her to find what the town had not been visited by the betel nuts, which had been sent to invite people. After she had consulted with the spirits, the woman said, "Hey, pull my finger, baby pops up." If childbirth was like that, we would have to live like explosive baby. Athena was a head baby, that's true. And then you've got the Percy Jackson series where all the childs of Athena are also head babies. Main, I found you traumatized on the floor because your parents had died in a murderous coup of your country. You have invited all the people except Ininit, who lives up above. Now you must send a betel nut to summon him. It may be that he is the husband of a Polybolinaya, for the Sklat vine carried her up when she went to gather greens. So a betel nut was called and bidden to summon Ininit. The betel nut went up to the sun, who was in his house, and said, "Good morning, sun. I have come to summon you to a ceremony which the father and mother of a Polybolinaya are making for the spirits. If you do not want to go, I will grow on your head." "Grow on my head," said the sun. "I do not wish to go." So the betel nut jumped on his head and grew until it became so tall the sun was not able to carry it, and he was in great pain. "Oh, grow on my pig," begged the sun. So the betel nut jumped on to the pig's head and grew, but it was so heavy that the pig could not carry it, and squealed all the time. At last the sun saw that he must have to obey the summons, and he said to the betel nut, "Get off my pig, I will go." That's wild. I like that, the betel nut thing. That's pretty cool, actually. That's a fun little strange cursed item. So Ininit came to the ceremony, and as soon as a Polybolinaya and the baby saw him, they were very happy and ran to meet him. The people knew that this was the husband of a Polybolinayan, and they waited eagerly for him to come up to them. As he drew near, however, they saw that he did not walk, for he was round, and they then perceived that he was not a man, but a large stone. All her relatives were very angry to find that a Polybolinaya had married a stone. If you think this is strange, try imagining the translator's job. And they compelled her to take off her beads and her good clothes, for, they said, she must now dress in old clothes and go again to live with the stone. So Polybolinaya put on the rags that they brought her, and once set out with the stone for his home. No sooner had they arrived, however, that he became a handsome man, and they were very happy. The end. Not the end. Not the end. So this must be the actual tribes, the tribal pictures of the tribe people. One second. I'm just trying to... Oh my gosh, sorry. I've been EP for like a week. I know not how to not be EP. Let's get this a bit bigger so we can see that picture nicer. Not very good picture. This must be pictures that Miss Mabel Cook took while she was away. Hello, honeybee, welcome. You tried Filipino noodles? Lovely. Ininit. Why not think of that? You married a stone? You said you married the rock. So them returning from the hunt. Interesting. Some 20th century pictures from the Philippines. Very good, very good. Da 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 da. There we go. Remember, marrying beautiful rocks is very good for you, so marry that anime figure. Well, there we go. That's the moral of the story, isn't it? Right? In one moon, said the sun, we will make a ceremony for the spirits, and I will pay your father and mother the marriage price for you. This pleased the Polypolinian very much, and they used magic so that they had many neighbours who came to pound rice, for them to build a large spirit house. Init means being heated. That's what Jimenez was reacting to. Ah, init. Then they sent oiled betel nuts to summon their relatives to the ceremony. The father of Polypolinian did not want to go, but the betel nut threatened to grow on his knee if he did not. So he commanded all the people in the town to wash their hair and their clothes, and when they were ready, they set out. When they reached the town, they were greatly surprised to find the stone had become a man, and they chewed the magic betel nuts to see who he might be. It was discovered that he was the son of a couple in Polypolinian's own town, and the people all rejoiced that this couple had found the son whom they had lost. They named him upon it to Lao, and his parents paid the marriage price for his wife. The spirit house 9 times full of valuable jars. Go gadget summon neighbors. Yes, no explanation. There was no explanation for any of this. It just kind of happens. But that's folk tales in a nutshell. In a betel nutshell for you. Soon you'll marry a Toot Neckham Musume figure collection. Oil betel nut is just a Polypolinia's power in it. It is. That was. Oh, it's still going. One more bit. After that, all danced and made merry for one moon. And when the people departed for their homes, Init and his wife went with them to live on Earth. I thought he became a stone when he was on Earth. Well, that happened. There was, in fact, a reed. A wild, wild reed. Don't you just love folktales and how they barely make sense? It's wonderful. That's how folklore is. Wait until the dragon that eats the moon arrives. There's a dragon that eats the moon! Oh, that's so exciting. I can't wait to get there. A Polypolinian. Tingwan. So, book 2. We're 10% of the way through this book. This is a very small book compared to what we normally read. It's taken an hour to get through 10%, so if that's the way we're going, we're probably going to get through this a bit faster than others. But that's okay. That means we can pick up another folklore and mythology book, and we're going to get so good at our folklore and mythology. Now, a different Polypolinian story, indubitably. The most beautiful girl in all the world was a Polypolinian of the Nalpangan. Many young men had come to her brother, Oh no, does he have basically the same name but slightly different? Oh no. A Pony Baligan. A mystery mythology looks so mysterious that it's actually a folktale book. Bakwana, the sun-eating dragon. Oh my god, that sounds so badass! Of the dragon will be here. His name is Bakwana. Wait, I got that wrong. Minokiwa is the sun-eating god. Back when I was the moon-eating dragon. Oh my god, that sounds so cool. I want to get there. But first, pretty ladies. Aponi Balagan, to ask for her hand in marriage, but he had refused them all. Like on the way from the pub home, stuff just happens. Welcome, Red-Eye. Welcome, Sunny. For he waited for one who possessed great power. Then it happened that the fame of her beauty spread over all the world till it reached even to Adasan. And in that place there lived a man of great power named Gawain. Not very similar. Gawain. Not Gawain. Gawain. Now Gawain, who was a handsome man, had sought among all the pretty girls, but never, until he heard of the great beauty of Apollinaria, had he found one whom he wished to wed. Yeah, decent amount of people. People want to learn about mythology and folk tales. It's great. Then he determined that she should be his wife, and he begged his mother to help him win her. Ma'am, how do I woo this lady? So Dingwen, Dina Wagen, the mother of Giwa, took her hat, which looked like a sunbeam, and set out at once to Nalpangan. And when she arrived there, she was greeted by Ibang, the mother of the lovely maiden, who presently began to prepare food for them. She put a pot over the fire, and when the water was boiled, she broke a stick and threw the pieces into the pot, and immediately they became fish. So this was an inherited skill she had. No, we're going to use the full names. No cheating, no shortening these names. We are going to stumble our bestest out of everything. Meh. Then she brought Bazi in a large jar, and Dina Wagen counted the notches in the rim, perceived that the jar had been handed down through 9 generations. They ate and drank together, and after they had finished the meal, Dina Wagen told Apollibalagen of her son's wishes, and asked if he was willing that his sister should marry Gawain. Apollibalagen, who had heard of the power of the suitor, at once gave his consent, and Dina Wagen departed for home, leaving a gold cup as an engagement present. Gawain sounds familiar. Ain't Gawain a giant with 6 heads? Is this a new story for me? Maybe that's why he's so powerful. They haven't described him yet. Maybe he is a giant with 6 heads. Gawain was watching at the door of his house for his mother's return, and when she told him of her success, he was so happy that he asked all the people of the town to go with him the next day to Nalpangan to arrange the amount he must pay for his bride. Now the people of Nalpangan wanted a great price for this girl, who was so beautiful, and the men of the 2 towns debated for a long time before they could come to an agreement. Finally, however, it was decided that Gawain should fill the spirit house 18 times with valuable things, and when he had done this, they were all satisfied and went to the yard, where they danced and beat on copper gongs. All the pretty girls danced the best, and one who wore big jars about her neck made more noise than the others as she danced, and the jars sang, Kitol, Kitol, Canitol, Inca, Incatol. Does becoming a fish means they drown? I don't know. But when Apollyon, the bride of Gawain, came out of the house to dance, the sunshine vanished. So beautiful was she. As she moved about, the river came up to the town, and striped fish bit at her heels. For 3 months the people remained here, festering and dancing, and then, early one morning, they took Apollyon to her new home in Adazin. The trail that led from one house to the other had become very beautiful in the meantime. The grass and trees glistened with bright lights, and the waters of the tiny streams dazzled in the eyes with their brightness as Apollyon waded across. When they reached the spring of Gawain, they found that it too was more beautiful than ever. Each grain of sand had become a bead, and the place where the women set their jars set their jars when they came to dip the water had become a big dish. That's very similar imagery to the last story we had. Could have been a gas leak hallucination, maybe. Those sticks would be great. They just become fish. It's wonderful. Claps in Filipino. A ballot game exists? I don't know what that is. Then said Apollyon, Aponi Balegen to his people, Go tell Gawain to bring an old man, for I want to make a spring for Apollyon. So an old man was brought, and Aponi Balegen turned his head and put it in the ground, and sparkling water bubbled up. Cut off his head and put it in the ground. Oh, so that's how springs are made. You cut off old people's heads and bury them. What? I love mythology and folk tales. Imagine being so pretty that nature wanted to take a look. Aphrodite she is Aphrodite. Aphrodite went on a holiday, and this is where she went. She went to go fuck up another culture. The sparkling water bubbled up. The body he made into a tree to shade his sister when she came to dip water, and the blood drops, as they touched the ground, were changed into valuable beads. Even the path from the spring to the house was covered in big plates, and everything was made beautiful for Apollyon. Now, during all this time, Apollyon had kept her face covered, so that she had never been seen by her husband. For although he was a handsome man, one of the prettiest girls, who was jealous of the bride, had told her that he had 3 noses, and she was afraid to look at him. After her people had all returned to their homes, she grew very unhappy, and when her mother-in-law commanded her to cook, she had to feel her way around, for she would not uncover her face. Finally, she became so sad that she determined to run away. One night, when all were asleep, she used magical power to change herself into oil. I thought that only happened when she got too hot. That would mean Aphrodite banged Apollo in the last story, correct? We do have a sort of Aphrodite here named Maganda, which also means pretty. Ah, that's cool. On and on she went, till she came to the middle of the jungle, and then she met a wild rooster who asked her where she was going. I am running away from my husband, replied a Polypolinian, for he has 3 noses, and I do not want to live with him. She got fake newsed. Oh, said the rooster, some crazy person must have told you that. Do not believe it. Giwai Gwen is a handsome man, for I have often seen him when he comes here to snare chickens. But Apollonian paid no heed to the rooster, and she went on until she reached a big tree where perched a monkey, and she also asked where she was going. I am running away from my husband, answered the girl, for he has 3 noses, and I do not want to live with him. Oh, do not believe that, said the monkey, for someone who told you that must have wanted to marry him herself, for he is a handsome man. The bubbles must have been a gas leak, potentially. Ballot is also said to be how you get ass swing. We're getting into things I don't understand. Chat meant a game which has a food vendor horror game where it's only Filipino. Oh, I see. What a chicken, sure. He may take my cousins, but he is handsome. Still, Polypolinian went on until she came to the ocean, and then, as she could go no farther, she sat down to rest. As she sat there pondering what she should do, a carabao came along, and thinking that she would ride while she climbed upon its back. No sooner had she done so than the animal plunged into the water and swam with her until they reached the other side of the great ocean. There they came to a large orange tree, and the carabao told her to eat some of the lustrous fruit while he fed on the grass nearby. As soon as he left her, however, he ran straight to his master. Kadayawan. And told him of the beautiful girl. I'm also proud that we aren't telling Lady Briny or anyone else bad words. You are being very civilized. I am somewhat on guard, because when you come to other languages, everyone tells you the swear words first. I appreciate you guys holding back. Kadayawan was very much interested and quickly combed his hair and oiled it, put on his striped coat and belt, and went with the carabao to the orange tree. Polypolinian, looking down from her place in the tree, was surprised to see a man coming with her friend, the carabao. But as they drew near, she began talking with him, and soon they became acquainted. Before long, Kadayawan has persuaded the girl to become his wife, but she's already married! Oh my god. Caribou, water buffaloes, cute creatures, great milk too, more protein. Cute water buffaloes. I would like to Google this. If it is cute, I would like to see. Caribou images. Loading. Oh, I see. They are quite cute cows. They got the big horns though. Bighorns. They're not as good as Scottish cows, the Highland cows, the big fluffy ones, but still pretty good. What Korean man were robbed? What is this? Look for Baba cows. I will do Bab Carabao. Oh, look at the little baby. They are very cute. Very, very cute. 10 out of 10. Ironic swear logs and tatalog is not for me. I say the F-bombs like drunken uncle. But save the Filipino swear words for us. I see. So if you swear in Filipino, we know you're serious. It's like, it's the equivalent of like using someone's full name when you're mad. Animals, talking animals, people turning into liquids and trees and stones. I wonder what they were eating. Wonderful stuff, obviously. They are the cows of the swamps and rice terraces. They're also called a calapaw. Nice. And he took her to his home. She's already married. From that time, every night, his house looked as if it was on fire because of the beauty of his bride. No, do not teach me. At least not today. Let's save the swear words for at least a few streams in. Let's try and keep this one wholesome. After they had been married for some time, Kadayadawan and Apolipolinaya decided to make a ceremony for the spirits. So they called the magic betel nuts and oiled them and said to them, "Go to all the towns and invite our relatives to come to the ceremony, which we shall make. If they do not want to come, then grow on their knees until they are willing to attend." I love these nuts, bro. Also, that sounded really bad. Do not clip that. Please do not clip that. But these annoying little guys that are just like, "I will grow on you if you say no. You'll have to come to the party whether you like it or not. No introverts allowed. Please come to the party." Or else. So the betel nuts started in different directions, and one went to Apolipolinaya, Aponi Balagan in Nalpanga, and said, "Kadaya Dawan is making a ceremony for the spirits, and I have come to summon you to attend." "We cannot go," said Pony Balagan, "for we are searching for my sister who is lost." "You must come," replied the betel nut, "or I shall grow on your knee." Clip, no clips, no clip, no clip, no clip, no clip. Is this what fake news does to people? Yeah, apparently it turns you into a two-timer in this one. Marriage was just a suggestion in the past, after all, especially around these parts, I see. "Grow on my pig," answered Pony Balagan. So the betel nut went on the pig's back and grew into a tall tree, and it became so heavy that the pig could not carry it, but squealed all the time. Then Pony Balagan, seeing that he must obey, said to the betel nut, "Get off my pig and we will go." The betel nut got off the pig's back, and the people started for the ceremony. When they reached the river, Gawain was there waiting to cross, for the magic nut had forced him to go. Also, then Kadayadawen, seeing them, sent more betel nuts to the river, and the people were carried across by the nuts. As soon as they reached the town, the dancing began, and when Gawain was dancing with Apolipolinaya, he seized her and put her in his belt. Woman. Pocket. Woman. Pocket. Woman, get in my pocket. Kadayadawan, who saw this, was so angry that he threw his spear and killed Gowigowen. You can tell that some parts are the same as the previous one. You can tell they stem from the same story. Yeah, it's fascinating. And her husband brought his victim back to life. Oh, no, wait. Killed Gowigowen, then Apollybolinayan escaped and ran into the house, and her husband brought his victim back to life, and asked him why he had seized the wife of his host. Gowigowen explained that she was his wife who had been lost, and the people were very much surprised, for they had not recognized her at first. Then all the people discussed what should be done to bring peace between the two men, and it was finally decided that Kadayadawan must pay both Apollybolinia and Aponibalagen and Gowigowen the price that was first determined for the beautiful girl. After this was done, all were happy, and the guardian spirit of Kadayadawan gave them a golden house in which to live. God damn. Put the woman in the pocket and we shake it all up. You put the woman in the pocket and you shake it all up. Like Ake said, there's some same, some difference. Dude shoplifted a wife. He did. Let's interrupt the search and rescue and go for a... I mean, it was under duress, because those betel nuts do not take any shit. Took on like a Pokemon with a Pokemon. He did! That was so funny. Oh, looks like we've got one about Gowigowen now. Gowigowen of Addison. Apollybolinia was sick with a headache, and she lay on a mat alone in her house. Suddenly she remembered some fruit that she had heard of, but had never seen, and she went to herself, "Oh, I wish I had some of the oranges of Gowigowen of Addison." And then he appeared and gave it to her. I don't know. It's kind of like the Paul Bunyan of the US, a local figure that became a source of legend and stories. Yeah, I guess so. She's fun-sized. Brownie, if someone ever says your fiancé has 3 noses, don't believe them. I won't believe them. I know for a fact he has 1 nose. I haven't blinded myself for no reason. Now, Apollybolinia did not realize that she had spoken aloud, but Aponi Tolau, her husband, lying in the spirit house outside, heard her talking and asked what it was she said. Fearing to tell him the truth, lest he should risk his life in trying to get the oranges for her, she said, "I wish I had some biu, a fruit." Thank you for that. A fruit. Aponi Tolau at once got up and, taking a sack, went out to find some of the fruit for his wife. When he returned with the sack full, she said, "Put it on the bamboo hanger above the fire, and when my head is better, I will eat it." So Pony Tolau put the fruit on the hanger and returned to the spirit house. But when Apollybolinia tried to eat, the fruit made her sick, and she threw it away. "What is the matter?" called Pony Tolau, as he heard her drop the fruit. "I merely dropped one," she replied, and returned to her mat. After a while, Apollybolinia tried again and said, "Oh, I wish I had some oranges of Gowigowen of Addison." And Aponi Tolau, who heard her from the spirit house, inquired, "What is it that you say?" So she escaped parties, got the host a concussion, and someone had to pay a fine. Basically, yes. One knows that is to be human. 3? What kind of fool do you take me for? Apollybolinia has so many husbands. This woman gets around. "I wish I had some fish eggs," answered his wife, for she did not want him to know the truth. When Aponitalao took his net and went to the river, determined to please his wife if possible. When he had caught a nice fish, he opened it with a knife and took out the eggs. When he spat on the place he had cut, it was healed and the fish swam away. Terrifying. I think these are different people. It might be a Link, Zelda, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker nonsense. It might be. She did say at the start that a lot of these stories don't. They're like the same characters, but but don't all seem to connect, kind of thing. Pleased that he was able to gratify his wife's wishes, he hastened home with the eggs, and while his wife was roasting them over a fire, he returned to the spirit house. She tried to eat, but the eggs did not taste good to her, and she threw them down under the house to the dogs. "What's the matter?" called Aponitalao. "Why are the dogs barking?" "I dropped some of the eggs," replied his wife, and she went back to her mat. By and by she again said. This is that lovely rule of 3 that a lot of these had. "I wish I had some of the oranges of Gawain Gawain of Addison." But when her husband asked what she wished, she replied, "I want a deer's liver to eat." So Aponitalao took his dogs to the mountains, where they hunted until they caught a deer. And when he had cut out its liver, he spat on the wound, and it was healed so that the deer ran away. Does the deer not need its liver? Question mark. Yeah, magical spit's all you need. But I've lost it. Aponibolinayan could not eat the liver any more than she could the fruit or the fish eggs, and when Aponitalao heard the dogs barking, he knew she had thrown it away. Then he grew suspicious, and changing himself into a centipede, as you do, hid in a crack on the floor, and when his wife again wished for some oranges, he overheard her. "Why did you not tell me the truth, Aponibolinayan?" he asked. I wonder why this sickness of hers is similar to how folks would get played by Encanto or Fae of the other world. Interesting. That's true. Why heal the fish when you can have sticks that turn into fish? He could have just changed a stick into everything she needed. "Because," she replied, "no one who has gone to Addison has ever come back, and I did not want you to risk your life." Nevertheless, Aponitalao, who loves his wife, determined to go for the oranges, and he commanded his wife to bring him a rice straw. After he had burned it, he put the ashes in the water, with which he washed his hair. Then she brought coconut oil and rubbed his hair, and fetched a dark clout, a fancy belt, and a headband, and she baked cakes for him to take on the journey. Aponitalao cut a vine, which he planted by the stove, and told his wife that if the leaves wilted, she would know that he was dead. And he took his spear and head axe, and started on the long journey. The dogs took the sticks. Good point. When Aponitalao arrived at the well of the giantess, all the betel-nut trees bowed, and the giantess shouted at all the world, and all the world trembled. How strange, thought Aponitalao, that all the world shakes when that woman shouts. But he continued on his way without stopping. As he passed the place of the old woman, Alok Kotan, she sent out her little dog, and it bit his leg. Oh, sugarcane presses, and vats for boiling sugarcane juice. Fascinating. Addison feels like a fey realm wherein folks would not return. again. And yes, we do have those too. Wondering. Wonderful is the word I meant. Imagine you minding your own business in the forest and now your liver is gone and someone spits on you. Yeah, that would be weird. Do not proceed, said the old woman, for ill luck awaits you. If you go on, you will never return to your home. That's basically it. Wow, that's a cool thing. Next. But Aponitalao paid no attention to the old woman, and by and by he came to the home of the lightning. Where are you going? Said the lightning. I am going to get some oranges of Gawain of Addison, replied Aponitalao. Go stand on that high rock, that I may see what your sign is, commanded the lightning. So he stood on the high rock, but when the lightning flashed, Aponitalao dodged. Do not go, said the lightning, for you have a bad sign, and you will never come back. Still, Aponitalao did not heed. Soon he arrived at the place of Silit, loud thunder, who also asked him, Where are you going, Aponitalao? I am going to get oranges of Gawain of Addison, he replied. Then the thunder commanded, Stand on that high stone so that I can see if you have a good sign. He stood on the high stone, and when the thunder made a loud noise, he jumped, whereupon Silit also advised him not to go on. In spite of all the warnings, Aponitalao continued his journey, and upon coming to the ocean he used magical power, so that when he stepped on his head axe, it sailed away, carrying him far across the sea. On the other side, he flew like a witch on an axe. That's so cool. Liver or atay is often associated with Filipino dishes, one being adobong atay, in which chicken or pork liver is the key ingredient. Ah, okay. Then, after a short walk, he came to a spring where women were dipping, and he asked what spring it was. Oh, some more tribal pictures. Very cool. No one ever does, no. And they always get warned at least 3 times. This is the spring of Gawain of Addison, replied the woman. And who are you that you dare come here? Chinese cultivators fly on swords. Aponitalao does it with his axe. He does. He flies on an axe. It's so cool. Common Filipino day, flying on an axe. Is that the common mode of transport in the Philippines? Without reply, he went on toward the town, but he found that he could not go inside, for it was surrounded by a bank which reached almost to the sky. While he stood with bowed head, pondering what he should do, the chief of the spiders came up and asked why he was so sorrowful. I am sad, asked Aponitalao, because I cannot climb up this bank. Then the spider went to the top and spun a thread. And upon this, Aponitalao climbed up into the town. Thanks, spider! Spiders are not normally good guys. But then all the good guys have told him to turn back, so I guess letting him in is kind of being a bad guy, question mark? Aponitalao has an expired passport. It is exciting. An exciting way to travel.
You may tell me about the jeepney if you wish. Now Gwy Gawain was sleeping in his spirit house, and when he awoke, he saw Aponitalao sitting near. He was surprised and ran towards his house to get his spear and head axe, but Aponitalao called to him, saying, "Good morning, cousin Gwy Gawain. Do not be angry. I only came to buy some of your oranges for my wife." Then Gwy Gawain took him to the house and brought a whole carabao for him to eat. And he said, "If you cannot eat all the carabao, you cannot have the oranges for your wife." Aponitalao grew very sorrowful, for he knew that he could not eat all the meat. But just at that moment the chief of the ants and flies came to him and inquired what was the trouble. As soon as he was told, the chief called all the ants and flies and ate the whole carabao. Aponitalao, greatly relieved, went then to Gwy Gawain and said, "I have finished eating the food which you gave me. Thanks to the bugs." Bug bros, apparently. Spiders aren't that poisonous, at least the urban ones. Jeeps are great, but like taxis, some drivers are, well, you know. I feel like anyone who has to be on the road for their job means they are scarier on the road than anyone else because they're done with so many people's shit. The jeepneys that were left during World War II were repurposed as public transportation that is still being used today. Oh, that's cool. Faye tried to trick Model, but unfortunately Model knows magic. Baba Yaga Babil. More pedestrian friendly than Axe in a crash, I guess. That's true. The Axe would be a bit bad in the crash. You never know who's going to get chopped. Baba Yaga didn't have a mortar and pestle. Gwy Gawain was greatly surprised at this, and leading the way to the place where the oranges grew, he told Aponitalao to climb the tree and get all he wanted. As he was about to ascend the tree, Aponitalao noticed that the branches were sharp knives, so he went as carefully as he could. Nevertheless, when he secured 2 oranges, he stepped on one of the knives and was cut. He quickly fastened the fruit to his spear, and immediately it flew away straight to his town and into his house. Apoliboninayen was just going down to the bamboo ladder out of the house, and hearing something drop on the floor, she went back to look and found the oranges from Azaden. She eagerly ate the fruit, rejoicing that her husband had been able to reach the place where they grow. She took a look. Then she thought to look at the vine, whose leaves were wilted, and she knew that her husband was dead. Soon after this, a son was born to Apoliboninayen, and she called his name Kenang. He grew rapidly, becoming a strong lad, and he was the bravest of all his companions. One day, while Kenang was playing out in the yard, he spun his top, and it struck the garbage pot of an old woman, who became very angry and cried, "If you were a brave boy, you would get your father, whom Gwy Gawain killed." Furry travels 6 hours total for her work days. That's terrible. 1 second. I need to blow my nose. Wow. Success. Kenang ran to the house crying and asked his mother what the old woman meant, for he had never heard the story of his father's death. As soon as he learned what had happened, the boy determined to search for his father, and try as she would, his mother could not dissuade him. As he was departing through the gate of the town with his spear and head axe, Kenang struck his shield, and it sounded like 1,000 warriors. "How brave that boy is," said the surprised people. "He's even braver than his father." When he reached the spring of the giantess, he again struck his shield and shouted, so that the whole world trembled. Then the giantess said, "I believe that someone is going to fight, and he will have success." As soon as Kang reached the place where the old woman Alokatan lived, she sent her dog after him, but with one blow of his head axe he cut the dog's head. He cut off the dog's head. Then Alokatan asked where he was going, and when he told her, she said, "Your father is dead, but I believe you will find him, for you have a good sign." Kanang is the main RPG protagonist now. He is. It was a knife tree, I know. That's, it reminds me of... I've seen something like that in a fiction somewhere, but it's not coming to me. Danganronpa's coming to me. Like that bit where, second execution of the third game, I think it was, where she had to climb up the thorn rope. That was awful. He hurried on and arrived at the place where lightning was, and it asked, "Where are you going, little boy?" "I am going to Azaden to get my father," answered Kanang. "Go on, stand on that high rock that I may see what your sign is," said the lightning. So he stood on the high rock, and when the bright flash came, he did not move, and the lightning bade him hasten on, as he had a good sign. The thunder, which saw him passing, also called to ask where he was going, and it commanded him to stand on the high rock. And when the thunder made a loud noise, Kanang did not move, and it bade him go on, as his sign was good. The women of Azaden were at the spring of Gawain dipping water, when suddenly they were startled by a great noise. They rose up, expecting to see 1,000 warriors coming near, but though they looked all around, they could see nothing but a young boy striking a shield. "Good morning, women who are dipping water," said Kanang. "Tell Gawain that he must prepare, for I am coming to fight him." The D&D, the battle nuts are such a hilarious D&D potential thing. I absolutely love it. The knife tree is awful though. I really don't like the knife trees. Kanang is him. We have found him. So all the women ran up to the town and told Gawain that a strange boy was at the spring and he had come to fight. "Go and tell him," said Gawain, "that if it is true that he is brave, he will come into town if he can." When Kanang reached the high bank outside the town, he jumped like a flitting bird up the bank into the town and went straight to the spirit house of Gawain. He noticed that the roof of both the dwelling and the spirits' houses were of hair, and that around the town were many heads. And he pondered, this is why my father did not return. Gawain is a brave man, but I will kill him. That old woman is like a Bethesda RPG. Her dog died, but she did not care. "I am so impressed by this young lad who killed the dog." That reminds me of you've got the Hound of Kulain that Kulain killed, and then he was like, "Oh shit, sorry I killed your dog. I guess I'll be your dog now." We love a bit of Irish mythology. Aswang. We'll probably get to him at some point. Aswang, not Aswang. I keep adding an extra S in there, and it sounds lewd. As soon as Gawain saw him in the yard, he said, "How brave you are, little boy! Why did you come here?" Or the book titled The Journal of Alejandro Padro, made by the same people who made Trece. Oh! "I came to get my father," answered Canang, "for you kept him when he came to get oranges for my mother. If you do not give him to me, I will kill you." Gawain laughed at his brave speech and said, "Why, one of my fingers will fight you. You shall never go back to your town, but you shall stay here and be like your father." "We shall see," said Canang. "Bring your arms and let us fight here in the yard." Gawain was beside himself with rage at this bold speech, and he brought his spear and his head-axe, which was as big as half the sky. Canang would not throw first, for he wanted to prove himself brave. So Gawain took aim and threw his head-axe at the boy. Now Canang used magical power, so that he became an ant, and was not hit by the weapon. Gawain laughed loudly when he looked around, and could not see the boy, for he thought he had been killed. Soon, however, Canang appeared standing on the head-axe, and Gawain was more furious than ever. He threw his spear. Again Canang disappeared. Gawain was filled with surprise. Then it was Canang's turn, and his spear went directly through the body of the giant. He ran quickly and cut off 5 of the heads, but the 6th he spared until Gawain... This is the first time we've heard of him being 6-headed. Should have shown him his father. So he spared the 6th until Gawain should have shown him his father. As they went about the town together, Canang found that the skin of his father had been used for a drumhead. His hair decorated the house, and his head was at the gate of the town, while his body was put beneath the house. After he had gathered all the parts of the body together, Canang used magical power, and his father came to life! He saved his dad! You were right, Howdy. Gawain is 6-headed, just not in the first story, just in this story. He didn't have 3 noses, he had 6! 6 noses! She was still lying, though. 6 noses is more than 3. Wild. Also check out the San Telmo, which is very similar to Japanese hitodama. "Who are you?" asked Aponitalao. "How long have I slept?" "I'm your son," said Canang. "You were not asleep, but dead. And here is Gawain, who kept you. Take my head-axe and cut off his remaining head." And so Aponitalao took the head-axe, but when he struck Gawain did not injure him. It did not injure him. "What is the matter, father?" asked Canang, and taking the weapon, cut off the 6th head of Gawain. 6 noses, yeah. Think about how bunged up you'd be if you got a cold and you had 6 noses. But it's less fabulous to move to the side. You could just turn into an ant. Obviously, that's the best option. Prometheus' school of running away from things? No, I'm just going to turn into an ant. Then Canang and his father used magic so that the spears and head axes flew about, killing all the people in the town. Slaughter! And their heads and valuable things went to their home. When Apolidonien saw all these come into her house, she ran to look at the vine by the stove, and it was green and looked like a jungle. Then she knew that her son was alive, and she was happy. And when the father and son returned, All the relatives came to their house for a great feast, and all were so happy that the world smiled. They murdered a whole town, and it was great. Wonderful. Kawika Wen is a fun monster idea. None of the heads are actually his weakness, and it's the hidden stump beneath those heads. Oh, that's cool. They were giants. They are to be slaughtered. Fair enough, I guess. I mean, they were using, like, human flesh and pieces of dead bodies to make their town. So, I mean, I guess, fair enough. It's pretty bad. But that is all we have for today. Thank you so much, Evan, for coming. This has been a wild read. We did get 20% of the way through, almost. So, probably only get about 4 or 5 streams of this. Then we might go on to another mythology book. We might go on to another classic. Who knows? If you would like to check out the list of potential mythology and folklore books that we could look at, there is the link in my Discord in the, I think it's in the book suggestions. What did I call it? Book recommendations. It's in there. So if anyone else has ones they're interested in, then please give us a little message. That would be lovely. But that is all I have for today. They plundered the city, they went home, and everyone's happy. It's all good. I am sleepy, oddly enough, but this is fun. I too am sleepy. I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad we had some people who know their Filipino lore to pop in and give us some fun facts. This will be back on Sunday next week, most likely. Yeah, it should be. I've got a busy weekend next week. It's also my birthday next weekend. Yeah. I'm hoping to do I'm hoping to do a karaoke. Even if it's like maybe kind of more of an unplanned karaoke where it's more just like surfing the web of karaoke music and seeing what we do. I don't know which one, what day it's gonna be yet. Well, I'll plan on Monday and try figure out like what my week's gonna actually look like. But we shall see. It will be around the weekend, I reckon, so I'll have to discuss it with the fiance, and we have a few things planned. I don't know. Furry be hearing about this. I hope she does. Hello, Blow Chips. I'm sorry, really. Happy birthday. Here's your birthday money. Thank you for my birthday money. It's not my birthday till next week. Next week is my birthday. Not today. Best wishes to you, and look out for more Encanto and Diwali. They're pretty, but they're dastardly. Yes, beware of the Fae. Always beware of the Fae. It's not my birthday today. Stop wishing me happy birthday. It's not my birthday today. Shish. Shish. But thank you. Anyway, that is all I have for you. I'll be back tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Monday. Because it's Saturday, not Sunday. I'm confused too. Don't you worry. With some more game development. But until then, if you have not already, I would highly appreciate it if you could leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel! More birthday money! Bro, it's my birthday next week, not today! But thank you anyway! You silly billies. You silly billies. Silly billies. If you have not already, I'd highly appreciate it if you could leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are on Twitch. If you give the channel a cheeky little follow. If you've done all those things and you would like to support me in many other ways, you can do that via YouTube membership, where you can get ebooks, exclusive streams, chat commands, Discord channel, and merch discounts. There is the Patreon, where you get short stories, exclusive streams, merch discounts, and free books. There is the Kofi, where if you like my emotes, you can commission me to draw some for you. And if you would like some merch specifically for me, then you can go to my website, where you can get ebooks, first edition copies of books that I've written, notebooks, pillow, and stickers. And if you would like random crochet things like the kitty cats you have just seen, you can head to my Etsy, which is Briny Rose Crafts, and you can get some stuff there. That is it. It's okay. There is no pressure to buy any of this. You really don't have to. I'm happy for you just to watch my streams. If that's what makes you happy, that's okay. I just have to mention it because if anyone does have anybody that they want to spend, then I've got to let people know about it. But it's no pressure. I just have to, say it, because if I don't talk about it, then, no one will ever know about it. But there's no pressure. I'm happy for you to enjoy. Happy for anyone to be in the chat. Thank you to anyone who lurked. Thank you to anyone who watches the VOD. I say these things very specifically because I am very happy that... today, specifically. I was getting ready to stream. There was already 9 people here. And this is a one-off stream on a Saturday that is out of my routine. And you guys still turn up for me. And I am so happy and lucky and blessed that I've been this successful in streaming. So, like I said, there's no pressure. You guys bring me happiness by showing up. And even VODers too. VODers too! I like you guys too. Thank you so much. I'm gonna stop being gooey, and I'm gonna go now. So, thank you so much for coming. I had fun! I hope you had fun. This has been Briny Rose Smith, live in the Finn Library. Goodbye!